everyone. Hello, hello. Good to see you back here. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, fantastic to see you all. Welcome to week two of the hackathon. I'm just going to invite our next speaker to the stage. But we are now in week two of this hackathon. Happy Monday, everyone. And I hope you're all ready for our next workshop on building community. I've got Chopin from the Cadence team. You guys might remember the Cadence workshop from last week. We have another one today. How's everything going, Chopin?
Hey, yeah, doing great. Thank you for having me today, Angela. Excited to talk to everybody.
Yeah, I'm so glad to see you here. Awesome. Well, everyone in the audience, GM, happy Monday. Great to see you guys in there. And for those of you who haven't dropped a little message, please do. Please come and say hello to us. Yeah, and while everyone is getting ready, Chopin, if you want to share your screen, and we can make sure that that's all running okay.
For sure. Yep. Yeah, thank you everybody for showing up today. I'm excited to get to be able to, talk about my experience in community building with Cadence, and then help you guys build your own communities. Uh, Communities themselves are at the foundation of every successful project, and I think it's something that's rather overlooked when people are starting new protocols and new companies inside of crypto, and I guess in just the general world as well. So excited to talk today. Um, so getting into it. So who am I? I'm Chopin. I'm the CBO or Chief Business Officer of Cadence Protocol. My background, ironically, is actually I'm a former spacecraft system software engineer in the traditional aerospace industry with startup experience culminating from like autonomous systems and hypersonic aircraft, satellite communication systems, and other wireless software applications. Um, but today I wanted to kind of start it off with what is probably my favorite quote in the world, because I think it really rings true to like how you should be, you know, going forward with everything you ever create, especially when it comes to community. So that is, in my walks, every man I meet is my superior in some way, and that I learned from him. Um, this quote kind of like really reminds you that it's important to not think you know it all, or you're not the expert in everything, but that everyone has something that they can share that they know probably more than you. And to really remember that, to, keep an open mind and really like embrace like feedback, new ideas, and really just kind of like, communicate with these members on a personal level, and make them feel worthy of respect, and that they're being heard, was something that I found and is obviously very important when you're building a community, because at the end of the day, if no one's using your product, no one likes you because you're talking down to them, or you're not learning from your customers, you can't scale. You're not, growing as a company. You're not growing as a protocol, and it's very important to really like hone in on the fact that everyone has something to teach you. So I guess the first question is like, why build a crypto community in the first place? So there's kind of three main things I think with this. So you have like increase project visibility amongst like other community channels, amongst crypto itself. Then you have user adoption. So these are the first people that you'll interact with, the first people going to be bring feedback to your protocol, um, ask questions about your documentation, really hone in on all the details. And those are the people you'll capture that will actually use, the tech that you build. And a third one is to gain valuable feedback as well as create like a core community. Um, and so feedback, in my opinion, is one of the most important overlooked uh, aspects of when it comes to community. So really trying to get people to, you know, find where their ideas are, what they would like to see, what's working on your protocol, what's not working on your protocol, and really asking these, your community members for their opinions. And why this is important is because it makes them feel a part of the team, which is something you really want to culminate when you're creating a community. You really want to make sure that your community feels like they're also, especially in crypto, that they're also, uh, helping build this protocol out, and it's not just taking orders down from the top, but it grows from the bottom up. Um, so an engage and support a community can drive increased exposure and adoption of the project. It helps spread the word, attract new users, and you'll even find out that like just by doing these normal things that you'll find like new investors or partnerships or connect with other communities across crypto that really just leads to more doors being opened for your protocol that you never knew that you would have before. So, a vibrant community also provides valuable feedback, like I talked about, enhances like your credibility. It builds trust between you, your team, and your community in the project, and then acts as a hub of collaboration and innovation. So in essence, a strong community often translates the overall success of a crypto project into a really good litmus test, as well as how your project and protocol is actually performing. Moving forward, so I'll get into like a step-by-step, kind of a high-level step-by-step guide that I kind of came up with. So, step one, what you really want to do at the beginning, and this is very important, is to identify your target audience. Um, Identify your target audience and create that core community. So you'll need to understand who you're targeting, whether they're like crypto enthusiasts who love just discussing about blockchain technology and its future, or they're investors looking for the next big opportunity in the crypto space. Knowing your audience helps tailor your messages and community activities to their interests, ensuring engagement and participation. It also involves researching, their preferences, understanding what platforms they're on, what they use, where you really can capture the highest growth rate and scale fast, and recognizing the kind of content that like resonates with your community. So this foundational step kind of sets the direction for your community building efforts and making sure that you're attracting the right members who are genuinely interested in your project and can contribute to its growth. So when you're doing this, what you really want to do is kind of start with like establishing your own internal team. Like when you first start your team and your protocol, establish like some corporate core values, and then create like a one-off like mission statement, and then really stick to these things. Like even you can even post it in your community, but what you're really trying to do there is show that your community that this is what we value, this is who we are, and you'll end up attracting people who are like-minded, um, and like attracted to your project and its success rather than just the normal people. And you'll get these people a lot. They just come and go for the money. um, and that's just the nature of crypto, even more like exemplified than Web 2 or anything, but that is the nature. So, but really building that core community of people who are genuinely interested in your project is one of the most important things to do right off the bat. These are the people who are going to be your champions, and contributors in the future. And honestly, it even helps, um, you know, when you're like looking into hiring or like finding mods or other like community management, like leaders and stuff like that. Really find like figuring out this filter of your core, um, helps in that process, and scale helps you scale way more down in the future. Moving forward, um, step two is selecting the right outlets for your discussions. So this includes like social media, forums, messaging apps. So in crypto, the norms are Discord, Telegram, Twitter, or X, and these are the kind of core. But then you also have your forums. This could be like Mir, Medium, what have you. And then messaging apps, the same thing, kind of like Discord and Telegram. But what's really important is to like really start this off at the very beginning to give yourself the most amount of time to start growing, to start learning. Um, and you'll get a couple people in at the beginning, and don't be disheartened. The filter from getting to 0 to 100 is probably one of the hardest things to do when you're growing a community, because that's when you break the algorithms. That's when you start getting like uh, you know some relevance. You don't look like a scam account. It's really hard to kind of break through the noise in the beginning, but the idea is that you build these welcoming communities, and you incorporate everybody who's in them at the beginning, and just kind of encourage them to share your platform, encourage, and then just constantly market, but be consistent in how you're doing it to find the right people. Forums, use those for more like, I would say educational content. So what we do at Cadence right now is we do a lot of educational, like more tech divey articles on our Medium. We'll be expanding this, to more like Mirror stuff like that. That's more crypto native. And then like messaging apps and social media, you obviously use that for marketing, use that for community building, use that for, discussing one-on-one with the communities, use it for AMAs, hosting events, stuff like that. Step 3 is obviously create engaging content. So marketing and community building go very hand in hand. So if you're on a protocol and they tell you that they're two separate teams, do not listen to them, because it's, you can't have good marketing if you don't know what your people want. And if you're just throwing out things, hoping something sticks to the wall, that's not a really good marketing strategy. And that's definitely not a good community building strategy, because you're going to confuse, dissuade, and push away people if you're not listening to them. So creating engaging content is key to keeping your crypto community active and interested. By sharing informative posts, videos, articles, you provide value that can help members learn more about the crypto space. This can include things like how-to guides, market analysis, updates on your tech and other tech in the industry, or insights on the latest trends, depending on what your protocol builds. Tailor it to how your tech works and make it work for you as well. The goal here is to produce content that not only educates, but also sparks like conversations, encourages members to interact with each other. Because this approach is not only to attract new members, but also to keep existing ones engaged, fostering that like vibrant and dynamic community environment. So, this includes, like I was saying, like one thing is interesting in the crypto industry that's probably separate from a lot of other industries is there's been a real big emphasis on meme culture and how to communicate effectively. So tapping into meme culture, creating your own kind of vibe, your own kind of brand, and differentiating from what you want to do is very important. I also say there's another trap that a lot of new protocols start out with. So they'll go look at like the biggest protocols in crypto. They'll try to copy their marketing. But when you're first starting out as a new protocol, your marketing strategy, your community building strategy will be very different from how those big companies are, because what they're trying to do is maintain their pipelines, where you're trying to create a whole new one. So tailoring your marketing strategy has to be very different from copying like existing protocols. You can gauge like ideas, like go back through their old tweets and old posts and get like kind of an idea of how they did it. That's actually really good research to do, but I would say like stay away from really copying them or really like trying to do exactly what they're doing, because it is different. They could be on a different chain, a different community, different vibe, different tech. They're just at a different stage in their companies that it might not make sense for your company at the time to follow those kind of same strategies, because they might not get you the same results, and then you'll become disheartened, and that's not good. We don't like that. So moving forward, step 4, so encourage interaction. So encouraging interaction with your crypto community is crucial for fostering a lively and supportive environment. By initiating discussions and posing questions and urging members to share their opinions, you create a space where members feel valued and feel heard. And like I said at the beginning, one of the most important things, and what you should always come back to and remind yourself, is to really make sure, no matter how big your protocol gets, no matter how successful, how much the token goes up, is to really make sure that these people in your community feel like people, and they don't feel like just the wallets that are like trying to pump your bags, pump their bags, stuff like that, because that's not how you want to ever interact with the community. You want them to make sure that they feel heard, feel a part of the team, and this engagement helps in building a sense of belonging among members, making them more likely to contribute actively and stay involved, and push your gospel across the crypto sphere. Engaging activities such as like live Q&A sessions, polls, discussion threads on current crypto trends, and can stimulate conversation and deepen members' connection to the community. One thing I've been doing at Cadence is I've actually been putting out like for polls for feedback, like anonymous polls to tell me how like we're doing, what we could do better, what they like, what they don't like. I actually haven't, for some reason, I haven't seen other protocols do this, but I think it's very, whenever you can capture more research and more insights, that's the best time to do it. But yeah. So moving forward, step 5 is host events. Host events like this, like webinars slash workshops. Offer that educational content to deepen knowledge. AMAs are very important in crypto. It's very, you can watch a Twitter account talk and post and all this and new articles and stuff like that. But to really, at the end of the day, we're human, right? And so as close to a human connection as we can get, the more impactful it is for your community members. And one of the beautiful things about crypto is that you get the chance to talk to people all around the world, so many different cultures, so many different insights. It's like it's a great like group think on a global scale that you'll really able to get like great, like I said, feedback, ideas, stuff that you would never know if you just like were staying in your own community. And a great way to do that is to actually do these like AMAs that provide direct insights and answer community questions directly. So these events offer like a platform for direct interaction between your community members and leaders, fostering a stronger connection and a deeper understanding of the project. Because a lot of time you type things, you post things, they're all nice, but like when you're really excited and the community can hear your genuine excitement behind a microphone, behind a camera, whatever have you, it just goes again that much farther. And then as you progress, obviously this is going to be very difficult for new protocols. I don't have any money. I don't have a big enough community yet to make this make sense. But in the future, as you grow and scale and your community grows and scales, meetups are again just that more level of human connection. And so they strengthen personal bonds and community cohesion. And as you grow, you can actually like, there's a cool thing crypto you'll actually like just have one of your community champions like in your host events for you. You don't even need to be there. They can like put it on. And it's something that's really cool about the Web3 industry is that people are really, really passionate about the technology. And if you grab those passionate people in your community, they can go so far. And they're just happy to be involved and help push the product and protocol that they love as well. So it's a really good flywheel effect that happens when you do things like this on a deep level. So step 6. So probably one of my not favorite things, but like the things it is very one of those like things you have to do, and it could be fun. There's some good ones out there, but like so step 6, leverage KOLs and spread your message to really like scale. So this includes like collaborating with YouTube, crypto YouTubers, and crypto influencers, or as they like to be called, key opinion leaders or KOLs. And that this can significantly expand your community's reach. These influencers are obviously already have large followings and can introduce your product to a wider audience much more quickly than you can at your current stage. And then by partnering with them, you can tap into their credibility, their network, making your project more visible and appealing to potential community members. These strategies not only boost your project's exposure, but also add a separate layer of trust through the endorsement of respected figures in the crypto space. And I say add a layer of trust through respected members because you will need to know, like have put feelers out to like really identify who's, not one that's like, sus and like who's gonna like probably screw your community over or give bad messaging or what have you. So keep in mind when you're finding influencers, and there's a lot of good ones. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of great people. We work with a lot of great ones. Um, but when you're doing deals with them, especially, that should be a team discussion on like tokens. Like one thing we did at Cadence was we really made sure um, when we were forming deals with some KOLs that we weren't giving them like other projects were giving them like 10% of their tokens or something crazy like that. Um, we made sure to give them like they had a max buy-in of I think it was like $10,000. So they didn't get too many tokens, but also they had a lockup period of like over like a year. With and this was obviously to ensure like protection for community members and our token holders and shareholders that they weren't going to just get dumped on by somebody pumping, when we were doing our LVP or whatever. So do everything with this with your community in mind and what is best with your community. Obviously, if you're an NFT project, you want NFT KOLs. If you're not, you don't want NFT KOLs. You want like DeFi native people. You want people who are, you know, people who to look for are like people who are actually pushing like good content. Like if you read it and it's very interesting and it's like adds educational value, those are the ones that I found. Um, you can do that. And something scary here, and I know it was in the beginning, is you're unsure. It sounds like a salesperson. You're kind of cold calling, but just message them. When you're doing, these from the beginning, everything's going to seem a little awkward because you're small protocol. Why would they care about you? Yada yada. These are all thoughts that will go through all your heads, and it's very natural. But what you do is you put yourself out there. Just have a write up a script of a generic message that you send it to like 80 of them. That's what I did. I had a whole list of KOLs, made a whole list, and sent it to 80 of them. If five of them got back to me, great. And then in five more, all you need. And then we found one that just liked us so much, they started pushing us to all their KOL friends, and then that's how we do it. So the thing is like when you put yourself out there and you talk to people, whether it's KOLs, whether you're talking to other communities like other DAO members or stuff like that, or partnerships. It's funny that in crypto, a lot of times when you're doing these things, you do it with one goal in mind, but that one goal in mind might not work out, but it might open a door that you never knew existed. And those people are happy to recommend you to other new people that, bring other products, other partnerships, other, messaging influence that you can harness. And it's all because you put yourself out there, and the crypto community is actually much nicer than you think. And they're very collaborative, and very like happy. I'm in a couple BD chats. All I had to do is ask somebody a question and immediately connected with somebody from like top protocols across the chains. It's stuff that you'll just find yourself into, and you won't know how to do it until you do it. So just do it. Is my advice there. So step 7 is providing value. Obviously, so offering value to a community members is the cornerstone of building and maintaining a vibrant crypto community. So by providing unique benefits and rewards, you not only enrich your community experience, but also foster a sense of exclusivity and appreciation. It's important to note that incentives and rewards do not have to be tokens. I'll say that again, they do not have to be tokens. And when you're doing it in the beginning, you probably don't want to always just give away tokens because you're going to set an expectation of what people always want. And then you'll get the when marketing, where's my token rewards, yada, yada, people coming in, and it just kind of spams the chat. It's not really what you want in the beginning. And obviously when you're a new protocol and probably don't have a treasury, probably don't have a lot of money, you can use tokens, you can use other things, although like tokens are a useful tool that members often like demand, even though to their own detriment and risk to a project, it's one that you can use sparingly. Nevertheless, you can offer incentives such as exclusive access to new features, early access to product releases, early access to closed test nets, or special discounts. You can organize contests and competition that encourage active participation and showcase community talent. These can be things like we did in the beginning, where like thread contests, meme contests. You want to do this sparingly, not too much, because you'll get some difficult people, but that's normal with any community building. And then you want to implement stuff like referral programs and incentivize community members to invite others to join because they earn discounts. The thing is here is there's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. You can be as you can get very creative with how you do these and how you provide value to people. Um, And I encourage you to get very creative, because if you come up with like the next cool thing that people come up with, like how Friends Tech did with their points and stuff like that, that's what could really set you apart from a lot of the noise, a lot of the projects, and really get people excited about your project. So, if your community has a governance mechanism, consider implementing staking and voting rewards, kind of like we did. Create opportunities for community members to gain social recognition for their achievements. This includes like featuring their work on your Twitter or on your Medium articles, featuring their ideas or contributions to your community's social media channels, websites, newsletters, etc. Just remember, when implementing incentives and rewards, it's important to ensure fairness, transparency, especially, and alignment with your community's values. So engage with your community to gather input on what types of incentives they find valuable and meaningful, but also know there will be people demand money, demand tokens. It's just the nature of crypto. It's kind of annoying, but it's just the world we live in. But it is a your token is a very strong tool that you can utilize, especially at an early stage, when you don't have money. But do it with like the future in mind is what I would say. So like always plan like, how is this going to affect the future? When it's going to release? Is there a lockup period? Is there not a lockup period? Um, Always plan with the future in mind, and what, like, at the end of the day, like, will protect your shareholders for the long run. So moving forward, so step 8 is staying consistent. So, being consistent in your updates and engagement is crucial for keeping your community interested and involved. Regular communication about project progress, upcoming events, and industry news keeps members informed and connected to your project. Consistent interaction, whether through daily discussions, weekly updates, or monthly AMAs, ensures that your community feels heard and valued. This consistently helps build like a loyal community base that remains engaged over time, and contributing to the project's long-term success. So that's the idea when you're dealing with people, is to always stay consistent in your messaging, stay consistent in your values. If you start faltering, people will get confused. People will probably lose trust in you and stuff like that, because they feel like you're just like clout chasing, doing what you want to make them feel like they like keep them happy in the short term. The idea is you want to keep your core members happy in the long term, and that will spell success for your protocol. As you move forward in this, like also, uh, you know, setting expectations early is a very good thing. So like, you don't have to promise your community members the world. They don't expect that. What you do need to do is, when you do promises, when you do interactions, make sure you follow through on those promises. So setting expectations on like when things are happening, how they're happening, when new token unlocks are coming out, or like when you're distributing rewards, stuff like that. When you say something's being listed and stuff, making sure that you know you're meaning what you're saying and you're following through as best as you can on it. And there'll be times where, like, it has happened for us plenty of times, where like just the nature of building a new company is a lot of work. There's a lot of things that you don't know until you know, kind of thing. There's a lot of external dependencies from other protocols that you're relying on to get like new, like for us when we're getting our Coinbase, still waiting on Fortunify, although that should be coming out soon for you guys. Don't worry. But like, it's just things, and as those things happen, remaining transparent to your community is very important. Like giving them updates, because a lot of times you think that telling your community something will spell like the worst case scenario. A lot of people are actually very understanding, especially if you build the right community base. They'll be very understanding. They'll just be happy that you told them, so they're not letting their imaginations run wild. Step 9, listen and adapt. So listening to your community and being adaptable is essential for your growth and improvement. Taking that feedback seriously um, means actively seeking out and considering what your community has to say about your project. This feedback can be invaluable for identifying what's working and what isn't, and being ready to adjust your approach based on this feedback demonstrates to your community that you value their input, which can increase, their commitment and their enthusiasm for your project. This adaptable approach ensures that your project stays relevant and continues to meet the needs and expectations of your community. As Web3 goes by, it's a very fast moving industry, probably one of the fastest in the world. Things change, narratives change, people get mad, sad, happy, glad, all in the same day. Like, depending on what Bitcoin's doing, people are like, that's the vibe you're going to get today. So listening and adapting to how your protocol can stay relevant is very important. Um, and like I said, like this demonstrates that you truly value their truly value their feedback, their opinions, and they are part of the team. Like that's what you really want to do at the end of the day, is make them seem like you're not a team telling them what's happening. They're all a part of it, and they're all helping this community grow. They're all helping this project grow, and that's what you really want to focus on. Again, the closest you can get to a personal connection with each and every one of your community members, the much stronger and much better your community will be, regardless of market conditions. So some tips for building a successful crypto community. So focus on the long term. Community building is a gradual process. Invest in those long-term relationships and consistent in value addition and progressive growth. Be authentic. Authenticity fosters trust and connection. Share genuine experiences, challenges, and triumphs. They know that this is a new project. They know that there's more headaches. They probably don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes, but people can be pretty reasonable if you allow them. Be transparent in your goals, your plans, successes, failures, decision making builds. And that all builds credibility and inclusiveness. Um, be responsive, quick and thoughtful responses to questions, concerns, feedback, show that you really value the community's opinions. And then be inclusive. Again, we're talking about a global sphere. You'll get a lot of different opinions, a lot of different people from different cultures, and that's all a beautiful thing. Foster environment where everyone feels welcome, heard, and respected, and they'll return it 10 times fold to you. So how to deal with difficult people. Inevitably, you're going to get them. There's a lot of trolls in crypto, especially. You'll probably get people who are just there just to spread FUD. The way I like to, approach these people, so I try to make, our socials the most like free speech that you can have as possible. Well, there are times where you have to warn people and you have to warn them again. Then that's like the idea to take action, like to kick them or to ban them or whatever. I hate doing that. It's not my favorite thing to do ever. But there's inevitably times where it's just important to protect your community if they're yelling at other members or they're attacking other members or being very like disrespectful to community meet teams, or just they're obviously spreading fake messages. And you'll be able to differentiate. But what you want to do when you're talking to these people is you want to keep your communication professional. You want to remain calm. You don't want to fall for their troll tactics, because that's what they're trying to get you on. Um, let them talk. Oftentimes what I like to do is kind of ask them what's actually wrong. Like, give me specifics on like how we can improve, how we could do better. And a lot of times, if they're really just there to troll, they're going to give you one sentence, one word answers. They're going to be very vague. They're going to ignore your questions, and they're obviously there to cause trouble is how I've seen it. And if they're actually there to, like, if they're actually good community members that are raising a relevant concern, address their needs, seek a solution and learn how you guys can improve together rather than, causing panic and chaos into your chats. Tell them how you'll plan to make this, solve. Because at the end of the day, you'll have to have people raise concerns, and that's not a very problem ever. And if anything, it builds a way more resilient community and way more resilient product as you move forward. So, trying to understand their point of view and, deal with it professionally, ask questions, get specifics, and get relevant feedback. And then at the end of it, make your decision is how I said to deal with it. So that's the end of my slides. So thank you. And I'll open up for any questions.
Awesome, amazing, Chopin. That was really, really insightful. And I think everyone Yeah, enjoyed that. Yeah, so guys, if you have any questions, please pop them in the chat now. I think there was one from AJ further up um, that was on how do you decide the right members for project growth? Is it luck? I think that
Sure.
was from early on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, happy to take that one. So again, when you're first starting off on your project, really identifying your company values and your company like core mission statements and stuff like that. Those people who will come in will be the very first people who come in are probably going to be people who are, identifying with that mission. You'll see them active in chat. You'll see them answer other community members' questions. They're the ones that be asking like relevant questions, like going through your actual doc. Because you'll have a lot of community who will ask you questions that you're like, it's in the docs, it's in all these posts that I just posted, and um, they won't read it. A lot of people won't read a lot of stuff you put, but there will be a couple people who will, and that's why it's important to actually make those things at the end of the day. Um, so they'll come in, they'll actually answer questions, and you'll be able to see over time like who sticks around, who doesn't, um, who's answering questions, who's providing real value to your project, um, and those will be the ones that you'll identify through as the right members for your project group. A little luck happens, but like at the end of the day, consistency is what builds great communities, not luck. And I see we have another one from AJ. How do you gain initial traction? Um, it's a great question. I wish there was another step by step on how to gain initial traction, but at the end of the day, it's start with it, your project. What kind of industry is it in? What community are you trying to relevate? What chain you're on? What's the vibe of that chain? Try to create an initial brand vibe at the beginning, and be consistently posting on Twitter. Be consistently posting on all your social media accounts, to kind of like just show people you're alive, you're something, you're relevant. What you really want to do in the beginning is build trust and credibility in a world full of scams on crypto. You want to build that credibility to show that you're not going to rug anything, that you're actually here to build for the future of crypto and the future of them, and they're going to have a shared success in that. So to gain traction is like I said, is just building, um, consistency in your messaging, but also get involved in events like this Canto Hackathon. This is how we got our start when we were getting initial traction. We came out as a top project on the Canto Hackathon. Got a lot of people from Canto to help with that. But also, what you want to do when you're building is find other projects on your chain, on your industry, connect with them, introduce yourself, build like rapport with them, and then ask if you can like speak to their community or if you can like co-host an AMA together. A lot of these little things, and like I said, you can get very creative in how you do it. Um, is stuff that you should find. And when you're first starting out, doing a lot of trial and error is important. Finding what works, what doesn't work is just as important as like staying consistent. So try different messaging, tones of voice. Try this, different brandings, different, um, you know, like meme contests or anything like that. Just try different things, and the things that do work, like, stick to them if it's sustainable. And then like kind of hone down as you like filter through those kind of processes. So we have another one. So should I make a community for those people before actually building coding the project, or should I make a project? Yeah. Great question. A lot of people start where they either want to build a community first and then build the project, or they want to build the project first and then hope there's a community out there to like uh, be interested in their product. So what you want to do, is kind of in between, and I know it's not going to be your favorite answer, but it's kind of in between that. Like, start building a project, get an MVP, right? Like a good idea. You have the technical architecture, established. It's going to work. You don't have to build the whole product yet. But what you want to do is now take that MVP and you want to go out into like community channels engage interest in like people's like I think ideas. So like you could have the best you know bottled ocean water, but if no one wants to buy bottled ocean water, then it doesn't matter. So it's like what you want to do is make sure that people follow your vision, like can understand it, and building educational content such as like medium articles of like a high level tech for the people who are tech, um, telling them how it's going to make their lives easier, how it's going to make their lives better, how they're going to like um, succeed with you is stuff that's important for like the general population. um, and then you can even do things like we haven't done this yet, but I've seen other projects do it where they have like how to guides on like YouTube, like video demos like that. Those can go a long way as well, I've seen. But to your last question, yes, build an MVP and then use that MVP to gauge interest. If there's a lot of interest, then go for it. If not, then maybe refine your idea, your vision, your product a little more. Target new community groups, and then like evolve as that happens. Is how I would say. Um, AJ, if I have no marketing experience, how can I divide my resources best? Love this question. I had like pretty much no marketing experience either. Again, I was an engineer back in my day. Did not like grow marketing channels and stuff like that. There's a lot of good resources out there. What I really liked prior to even like starting, Cadence and everything, is I actually read a lot of like books about human psychology, how people like operate, and how to build like community channels. A good book is like The Art of Community. There's actually two ones named the same thing. So one's by Jono Bacon. I forget who the other one is by, but it's probably the first one that'll pop up. Great books on community building. Um, and then, so how do you divide your resources best? So say you're like me and you're also doing some tech stuff on the side, in addition to community building, in addition to the marketing and all the other business operations that go in. Um, as a entrepreneur, as a startup, you have to be flexible. Going to have to wear a lot of hats, but as you do it, you'll gain much more experience much faster than you ever had to in probably previous jobs, and it's very exciting. Like I've learned more than I have ever probably since starting like our own protocol. um, but to divide your resources best, what you really want to do when you're starting is get a good core understanding of how you would like to envision your community, and then really, like I said, build that core community that could help like push messaging and answer questions for you. Find good moderators who align with your values. Find a good community manager who can like, if as your project's growing, you'll want to find a community manager to take over where you have to like deal with other parts of the business. But I would say at the beginning, focus on just that core community. So build those like posts that targets those core communities, gauge interest, and really just do the bare fundamentals of what community means. Don't get caught up in the noise of having to do like 100 different things at once, because if you half-ass like 100 different things, you're not going to do well in all of them. So really focus on one thing, do it right, and then as that is, those processes are defined, expand and scale as needed. So we have another one. So how important is DAO and building a community? We don't have a DAO at the moment. I mean, we have plans in the future to have one, but eventually, so it's not that important. A lot of companies don't have a DAO, but they do serve as a really good base when you're able to if you're able to create one and want to create one. It's a great like community where they basically like do all the governance kind of for you, but it's like a people's court where your community members are deciding project proposals on new ideas and coming up with like grant programs and other people to help build on top of you or build alongside you or to get onto new chains. If you want to create a DAO, I would say start with a core community first, then evolve into a DAO, because obviously you can't create a DAO if you don't know who's even interested in your project. But yeah, so I would say don't think that's like the end all be all of community building, because most definitely not. What you really want to do is, again, find that core community, make personal connections with your people, and be active in chats. Like it's important as you're hiring too. I'll say this, as you're hiring too. A lot of people rely on their just moderators to talk for them. You don't really see the team anymore. And that's not really good, in my opinion. I think as a company, it's very important to stay connected with your community because, again, your community is where everything builds from. That's who's pushing your messaging. You want to make sure that they're getting the most updated information, and it's just more credible when somebody from the team is saying, "Hey, don't worry, we got this." We're working on if there's an issue, we're working on this issue or this new thing's coming up, and rather than like a moderator saying it, right? No offense to moderate, but it's just like the people who are on the project team just helps build more trust and credibility versus like if you distance yourself from your community, obviously there's going to be a natural distrust when that comes around.
Great. I think those were all of the questions. Amazing. Oh, Bhupendra has it a question? Uh-huh.
Yeah, absolutely. Most brilliant one right now is the Canto Hackathon. That's where we got our start. Again, it's like as the beautiful thing about the Web3 industry is just reach out to projects, reach out to founders, reach out to get into like some Telegram groups, just ask if there's like things like that. And as you're doing these searches, like again, you'll open those doors that you didn't know existed. You'll meet new connections. You'll learn new things. And as get yourself in front of organizations and people who can guide you. Tell like what I like to see. I'll tell you how I look at it from Cadence. We get a lot of people asking like, "Hey, I'm a solidity engineer with this amount of experience, but I've never seen them talk in chat. I've never seen them do anything. Like they just join, and that's the first thing they say is asking for a job." Some companies may be like that, but obviously when you're in crypto, it's a little different because I like to see that you're interested in the project. I like to see that you're a part of what we're building. If I hire you, you actually understand what even the name of the company is, kind of thing. So it's like show genuine interest in the company that you're really actually identifying with and would like to work with, because it's important to you too. You don't want to work for a company that you don't like. You don't even know what you're getting yourself into. You don't even see how we're talking or how other people are talking. You could be like, "Oh, this don't relate," or "we do relate," stuff like that. So I say, put yourself out there, be ready to get rejected. And that's perfectly okay. That's just how, the world works. But eventually you'll find somebody who will be happy to talk to you, happy to, connect you with other people. And that's just how, new doors open up. But you have to make the move to, push yourself to do it. And after a while, you'll get used to it. And it's just like you make more resilient, and then you'll be like, it's okay, because as an entrepreneur, you're gonna get rejected. You're gonna fail sometimes. There's gonna be bumps, but the idea is to learn how to overcome those, especially when you're doing this about this.
Awesome. Those are some very wise and sage words to share right at the end. And I really do feel like awesome response, Bhupendra is on the chat. But I really do think that, putting yourself out there is super important, especially when you're trying to engage with people. And interestingly enough, I was having a conversation about community the other day as well, and the general consensus was go out there and instead of trying to make connections or whatever, go out there and try and make friends.
Make friends, yeah.
And yeah, exactly, and just have a good time, and then once you've got that, once you've been able to create a good bond with someone, it becomes a way more collaborative space, and you guys can share resources, not only that, but help each other out, and grow as people. But yeah, no.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. No, again, it all comes down to human connection, and the closer you can get on a personal relationship basis is the best that you can do. When we first started, we went to Consensus,
Mm,
the conference. We weren't hosting anything. We were just like, it was my first crypto conference, never been to one. I absolutely loved it. And actually we found just by talking to people at like the happy hours and stuff like that, just chatting, not really even about Cadence because we're trying to like be low key at that time. Um, we found like new investors. We actually found our lawyer there as well. We found like just random people that you never knew you would expect to like. I did not go there expecting to find like half our business there, and we did. It's just like going to those events, getting connected with people. Because I think for me, it was like, oh, people finally like talking about crypto when they're drunk too. Great. Like I do too. Perfect. So like I get to talk to these people. They talk to me. You form those personal connections, you make new friends, and even if it doesn't lead to like a investor partnership or whatever business related, they more times than not also have a network that they can connect you with, and they'll be happy to do so, especially if they liked you. So again, put yourself out there.
Amazing, 100%. Oh, Mehrab has a question for me. What's my experience with connecting with the community? Uh, Honestly, well, I'll try and answer candidly. Mehrab, I recognize your name all the time. You're always here, you're always coming along to our events, and that just makes me smile. Honestly, I can't it's sad because I can't interact with every single person on a one-to-one basis, but I try my best to make sure I'm kind of out there and people know that they can come to me and ask questions with new members as well. You know, whether they're joining a hackathon or a boot camp, that's kind of the role of the program manager. It's to be your point of contact at Encode, and hopefully you guys know that you can come to us with anything, and we'll do our best um, to help answer your questions or help you out. It might be a bit slow. So there's not actually too many of us, but we do our best. And I think that's the most important thing is just to know that you can DM us and we can try and respond. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. Oh,
Absolutely.
thanks, Maharab. um, Amazing. Well, I think this is a great thanks, AJ. I think this is a great point in time to yeah, wrap it up. Thank you so much, Chopin, for just coming along. That was such a great discussion. So many great questions as well from everyone in the chat and engagement. Cool. Do you want to say any final words?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for everybody who showed up. I really appreciate you taking time of your day to come, listen to me rant. So I'll get off my soapbox now. But yeah, at the end of the day, trust in yourself, be a good person, and the people will follow. You'll get good people, and that's all that matters. So, trust in yourself is at the very foundation of everything you need to do. So good luck, everybody. I'm excited to see your projects and the competition. And please feel free to reach out to me through our socials or anything. If you have any questions, want any more follow-up questions that you come up with after, happy to answer, happy to connect you. So yeah,
Mm,
everyone, thank you.
absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much. On that note as well, just before we quickly go and wrap up, I'm going to quickly share the link for the office hours as well. So if anyone wants to get any technical support or feedback from all of our mentors in this hackathon, that also, guys, this is one of the only hackathons where I've seen so many mentors be so active and ready to help out, genuinely. Please take advantage of that and book in a slot with one of these mentors. You can ask any questions that you want. I think they'd be really, really happy to just sit, chat, and help you out there. So please do. And of course, if you want to book a call with me, that's also fine as well. Just note that I won't be able to help you with technical support, but I can be your cheerleader and help you get your project across the finish line. Yeah, okay, awesome. I think that's everything for today. Thank you all so much once again. Thank you so much, Chopin, for coming along and just the Cadence team for generally supporting this hackathon. It's been great so far. Everyone, there is another workshop tomorrow, so please stay tuned for that. Check your calendars. And yeah, I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you all very soon.
Thank you,
Bye,
Angela. Thank
guys.
you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Take care.